Sean's got more behind-the-scenes information, more contacts than anybody, more friends behind the curtain. Sean Hannity is on.
All right, 25 now till the top of the hour, 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. For some bizarre reason, I don't know why, as the Senate primary in Pennsylvania takes place, the vote takes place on Tuesday. It's winner take all. And out of nowhere, Kathy Barnette has now surged into second place in the polling. And yet she has not really been vetted throughout this process. She lost a congressional seat race 2 years ago by 20 points to a pretty weak Democratic candidate. And now that there is some vetting going on, it's really raised a lot of eyebrows. Comments that she's made about Obama, a lot of them. Comments made about Muslims. All of this will be used in a general election if she in fact gets the win and she is the candidate. Associations with QAnon, controversial racial comments, constantly trashing Donald Trump. She even mentioned me in a tweet, which was very nice of her. And controversial comments. There's no shortage of them as they relate to gays and lesbians. Sean Gale is going to join us in a second. Here's what he had to say about this issue.
At a recent U.S. Senate debate, candidate Sean Gale called out Kathy Barnette for playing the race card on the campaign trail.
And I think it's very disingenuous for Kathy Barnette to pretend that she's not running a campaign purely based on identity politics. I'll prove it this way. There's 7 candidates running for this race. There's 9 running for governor. There's only one candidate that has to put her picture on the sign, and that's Kathy Barnette.
But don't take Sean Gale's word for it. Take Kathy Barnette's.
Get my yard sign. Get my palm card. If you're really hesitant about speaking, get the palm card, pounce on your neighbor, and just hand them the card. And if they say, no, I don't want it, shame them. Really? You don't want to support the first black person? Are you a racist? Say it to them. That's what they say to you. Why do you think I put my little black face on my yard sign?
Anyway, Sean Gale joins us now. Sean, welcome to the program. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me on the show, Sean. I appreciate the opportunity.
What do you make of this sudden surge, and how is it even possible we've gotten this far and now all of these tweets are showing up? Now, we did reach out to Kathy last night and got a comment from her, and she claims that she doesn't remember ever tweeting any of these controversial statements out. It's not just one or two. There's a boatload of them, as you probably know.
Yes, it's very upsetting to see this happening because I lived in the congressional district that she ran in 2020, where she lost by 20 points. And as I played in that clip there, she bases her candidacy purely on the fact that she's a black woman. And we can't have the race card being played. If you heard that clip, she says, go to your neighbor, pounce on your neighbor, give them my palm card. And if they don't say they want it, shame them and call them racist. I mean, that is not what we do as Republicans. That's something we expect from Democrats. And anybody who campaigns like a Democrat is going to vote like a Democrat as well. And we have a serious problem with Kathy Barnette, and she has a ton of baggage. Some of it's finally coming to light. I think she was giving a pass by most people, and now it's coming up to the election week, and there's 7 candidates running in this race for Senate, and there's a lot of undecided voters. And seeing that she appeared to be a clean candidate, which she is not, voters have been moving towards her, and that is a big mistake because she is unelectable. And playing the race card on the campaign trail is the last thing we need. We don't need a candidate who's going to weaponize race against voters.
It's interesting because I've followed the race very closely, as you know, and I've watched the debates, and I've watched everybody. Everybody seemed very respectful, including her. But I guess her low polling up until this point did not warrant a vetting process. Are you as shocked as I am at some of the things that she said and tweeted, et cetera? I mean, because I really worry if she got the nomination. Nothing against her, but, you know, you have to look at electability as a factor for every candidate, don't you?
Well, she's totally unelectable. Now, I'm not surprised because I knew that she had this baggage because I've been seeing it over the past several years, but she's been treated with kid gloves. But I'm sorry, when you get to a general election, the gloves come off, and she is not going to hold up to scrutiny. And I'll tell you
they're
something
talking
that
about
I
if
did find
she's up
shocking.
against Fetterman, that you're saying that she will not be able to withstand what's coming her way, and that you're basically saying that is an unwinnable election. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
With her leading the ticket, absolutely, it's unwinnable. And we cannot afford to lose the Senate.
This is a must-hold Senate seat, as you know, Sean. We got to win the Senate seat.
Yes, and I'll tell you something that I did find shocking. In 2020, she wanted to erect a statue of Barack Obama. She started.
Yeah, I saw that. What was that about?
Well, put this in perspective, Sean. She wanted to erect a statue of Barack Obama at the same time Donald Trump was running against Barack Obama's vice president. Let me
play. I actually have the cut of it. It's in her own voice. Let's play it.
And also another thing that we have proposed, and you can go out to change.org and find our proposal that we are calling the way forward. What I'm proposing is that we add to that particular memorial. So we continue with the Emancipation Memorial statue, but now we add two other statues. One is the family of the first black president and his family.
And she was talking about Barack Obama in that moment.
Yes, and
by the way, I don't know many Republicans that want to praise Barack Obama. I think it was a horrific presidency.
Sean, I know, like you, I was always taught you judge somebody on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And when you say you want to erect a statue purely because he was the first black president, that's judging Barack Obama on the color of his skin. Because if you judged him on the content of his character and his presidency, he'd be the last guy that we would beat you up of. So
let me ask you. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
It's stunning to see that. And again, to put it in perspective, this is while Donald Trump was running against Joe Biden, who is Barack Obama's vice president. So
I think the thing that shocked me the most of anything, because I've watched her in debates, and I actually think she did a good job in some of the debates. But on the other, and she claims she's MAGA, and then she claimed in the last debate that Donald Trump isn't MAGA, and I'm like, the whole movement is Donald Trump's MAGA, Make America Great Again slogan, so I'm not sure what she was actually saying there, but she is clearly, based on the things that she's tweeted and said repeatedly, not a fan of Donald Trump's at all, but it claims to be a Make America Great Again conservative. What did you make of that?
Well, Kathy Barnette is only out for one thing, and that's Kathy Barnette. And she wrote a book about, believe it or not, life as a black conservative woman. That's what her whole candidacy is based on, is identity politics. And she ran for Congress as a way to promote her book sale. And she raised over $1 million running for that race. And
by the way, she has a very, very inspiring life story. I guess her mom was raped at 11, she claimed. And the fact that her mother had her and was a young mom, not even a teenage mom at that point, is an incredible story to me. And I find that part of her life very, very interesting. And
that's very important. It's always nice to have a nice story. But, Donald Trump wasn't a guy who was born into poverty or a hard luck story, but he was the greatest president this country ever had. So I think it's very important we can recognize somebody's stories and achievements, but that does not necessarily mean they're the best fit for the Senate. And it certainly doesn't mean they're the best candidate to take on the Democrats in the fall.
Do you believe, if nominated, she has any chance of winning?
I do not see any path to victory for Kathy Barnette. Now,
do you believe all the other candidates running, forget about who I support, do you believe every other candidate running does have a chance?
I would say that is the case. Now, the big issue we have in this state, of course, is mail-in voting, which unfortunately was given to us by Republicans in our Harrisburg state legislature.
Yeah, they ignored their own state constitution. I saw that.
Yes, and that is a huge issue that we have to overcome, any candidate going into the general election. But if you look at Kathy Barnette and the baggage she has, and this idea that she can race shame, tell people, call them racist if they're not supporting her, if she thinks that's going to take her to victory in the fall, it's not going to work, just like it didn't work when she ran for Congress.
All right. Really appreciate your time. Sean Gale, thank you for being with us. In all the years I've been covering politics, Linda, have you ever seen anything like this? This is your home state, and I'm not going to ask who you're voting for, but
no, I haven't.
I have never, and remember when we had Kathy on this program, we were very impressed with her. And now when you look at all this information that's come out, are you as surprised as I am? Because I was surprised.
I'm always surprised. You know, the one thing I would say about Kathy when she was on is I really just liked her personally. I thought she was very cool. We knew very little about her. It was a long time ago when everything was just starting to heat up. People were taking an interest in the state. Obviously, Pennsylvania's Senate seat is a very important part of what we're trying to keep going here.
Very important. I don't think Republicans can take the Senate back
no, I would agree.
Without the seat being held.
I would agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think the one thing that I have said about Kathy from the beginning is just that she doesn't have a lot of experience. And I don't disagree that in order to get experience, you need to have it, sort of like that chicken egg thing. But I don't think you start out with the Senate. I think you start out as a state legislator. I think you start out working in your districts, getting familiar with the various communities, and start building sort of some of that, rapport with the community, unless you had a bigger microphone previously and you were able to, let people know who you were so that when you came into the race, they were like, I know who that is. Whether that's Carla Sands because she was an ambassador, or whether it's Jeff Bartos because he's an entrepreneur and a businessman, or whether it's Oz because he was on national television and was a voice during COVID. Whatever it is, they all have different roles that they've played where the people of Pennsylvania start to get to know them and who they are. We don't have that with Kathy. We know the same couple of stories. We hear them again and again. And then comes
the Club for Growth, which is obviously, I think it's pretty obvious, transparent to me. I think their motivation is that Dr. Oz, who President Trump supported and I'm supporting, gets defeated, they've got their own other agenda. We're done with the Club for Growth, by the way. Finished. Because they're part of that establishment group of Republicans. And by the way, everything that Kathy has said, I would assume they know about because they put so much money into her campaign.
I would assume nothing, actually. I think people are not doing their due diligence. And I think that people.
Well, I made phone calls to check that out. And apparently they are not backing off, even in light of all of these things, even being made aware of all of these things.
Oh, well, that's different. Okay.
Yeah.